This is Prabha Verma here with my next video of class 9th on an important topic, division of polynomials. Now, before I proceed to explain how to divide polynomials, let me just do a quick recapitulation on the normal division of numbers. Now, if I take any two numbers, suppose I take 25 divided by 3. Now, when you divide any two numbers, what do you do? I am not talking about decimal division. I am talking about normal division. When I start dividing, 3 8s are 24. I subtract, I get the remainder as 1. And I stop dividing until and unless I have to find the answer in decimals. Now, what condition were you applying in division of polynomials? The condition was that you carry on dividing till either you get the remainder as 0 or you get the remainder less than the divisor. And you very well know that 25 is the dividend, 3 is the divisor, 8 is the quotient, and 1 is the remainder. That means your most important condition for division of numbers was that we keep on dividing till either we get the remainder as 0 or we get the remainder less than the divisor, then we can stop dividing. So here, if I have to write the answer, I will write my quotient has come as 8 and my remainder has come as 1. Now, when you come to division of polynomials, we almost apply the same logic, but with a small difference. Now, when you're given two polynomials, as in all questions of polynomials, the first condition is that you have to rewrite your polynomials in standard form. Now, here I've given a question, divide px by gx, where px I've written as x plus 3x square minus 1. And I've written gx as 1 plus x. Now, if you observe, both px and gx are not in standard form. That means they are not arranged in the decreasing order of their powers. So when I start dividing, I will first write them in the standard form. So I rewrite px as 3x square plus x minus 1. And I write gx as x plus 1. And I start my process of division. Now, what do we do over here for division? Here, we have to equate the coefficients. Over here, the coefficient of x is 1. Over here, the coefficient of x squared is 3. That means when I say a coefficient, it is the number multiplied by the variable. Now, here I have to multiply something by x so that on multiplication, I get it equal to 3x square. So obviously, first I need to multiply x by 3. So I multiply it by 3. X has a power 1. I require power 2. So I need to give it one more x. So I write over here 3x. Now you know this 3x into x gives me 3x square. So I multiply this 3x by this x. I get 3x square. Next, whatever I have written over here, I have to multiply every term of your divisor by this term. So the next term over here is 1. I multiply 3x by 1. I get plus 3x. As in normal division, I subtract. That means I change the sign of all the terms in the second line. I change the sign of all the terms in the second line. Every time the first term will get cancelled out. This is plus 3x square. This is minus 3x square. It gets cancelled out. Now, plus 3x and minus 3x gives me minus 2x. I bring down 1. I get minus 1. Now, another important thing you have to remember is the way you arrange in the decreasing order of the powers, you solve them also in the decreasing order of the powers. First, I solved x square. After square, you get x. So next, I solve x. Now, I have a minus sign here. So obviously, I have to put a minus sign over here also. I have x. I require 2x. So I write 2 over here. Now, minus 2 into x gives me minus 2x. And minus 2 into plus 1 gives me minus 2. Again, I change the sign of the second line. So this minus becomes plus. This minus becomes plus over here. This gets cancelled out as I told you just now. Plus 2 minus 1 gives me plus 1. And now, what have I done? I stopped dividing because in case of polynomials, you carry on dividing till either the remainder is 0 or the degree of the remainder is less than the degree of the divisor. I've already explained you how to find the degree in my previous video. Now, if you see the divisor over here, the power of x is 1. When the constant, this is a constant term, it has no variable multiplied, and when I had done my video on laws of exponents, I had told you anything raised to the power of 0 is always equal to 1. So I can write 1 as, or any constant as 1 into x to the power of 0. That will again give me 1 only. That means the degree of this 1 is 0 and the degree of this remainder is less than the degree of the divisor. So I stop dividing it over here. I repeat again, in polynomials, you will divide till the degree of the remainder is less than the degree of the divisor. So now when you have to write the answer, you will write, since you're dealing with polynomials, your qx will be equal to 3x minus 2 and your rx will be equal to 1, and this is where your question completes. I take on one more example over here of division of polynomials, which is a bit different over here. Different in the sense, though I have given you both the polynomials in the standard form, if you observe the question over here, it is 3x square to the power of 4 minus 4x cube minus 3x minus 1. Now over here you have power 4, you have power 3, but power 2 is missing in between. Then you have power 1 and then the constant term, and you have the divisor as x minus 1. So as I start dividing as in my previous question, I have x over here, I require 3, so I write 3 over here. X has power 1, I require power 4, so I write x to the power of 3. Because 3 powers, 3 plus 1 gives me 4. I multiply these two, I get 3x to the power of 4. Now I need to multiply this 3x cube by minus x. So 3x cube into minus 1 gives me minus 3x cube. So I write minus 3x cube over here. As previously done, I change the sign. This becomes minus, this becomes plus. The first one gets cancelled out. Minus 4 plus 3 gives me x cube minus x cube minus 3x minus 1, right? Now I solved x to the power of 4. Next I solve x to the power of 3. So I require minus sign over here. X has a plus sign, so I put a minus sign over here. I put a minus sign over here. No coefficient, the coefficient over here is 1. Even this has the coefficient of 1. Now coming to the power, this is x to the power of 1. I require x to the power of 3. So I multiply it by a square. So I write over here minus x square. So minus x square into x gives me minus x cube. When you equate the first terms every time in division, you have to equate the sign also. So since this had a minus sign, when I equate it, I require a minus sign over here also. Then minus x square into minus 1 gives me plus x square. Now if you see over here, I have no x square over here. So I write this x square separately over here. Minus x square into plus 1 gives me plus x square. You always write the same powers one below the other. There was no x square over here, so I wrote it separately. Now again, I change the sign. This was minus, this becomes plus. This was plus, so this becomes minus. This gets cancelled out. Now after x cube, what comes? The power 2 comes. So I write down the square first over here. So I write minus x square. After power 2 comes 1. So I write minus 3x and minus 1. I hope it is clear. When you do division also, it is always in the decreasing power of the variables. You cannot just jump in from x cube to x. Since there was no x square over here, I wrote it separately over here. Now I have x square minus 3x minus 1. Next, what do I multiply? I require a minus sign, so I write minus over here. There is x over here, there is x square over here, so I write a minus x. So minus x into x gives me minus x square. Minus x into minus 1 gives me plus x. Again, I change the sign. This becomes plus, this becomes minus. As always, the first term gets cancelled out. Minus 3x minus x gives me minus 4x. I bring down this minus 1, I get minus 1. Lastly now, I require minus 4x. This has a plus, so again I put a minus sign over here. I require 4, so I write minus 4 over here. I get minus 4 into x gives me minus 4x. Minus 4 into minus 1 gives me plus 4. I again change the sign. This gets cancelled out and I get minus 5 over here. Now I stop dividing because the degree of this remainder is 0 and your degree of the divisor was 1. So I can stop dividing now. I hope it is very clear what I have done. I've gone step by step over here how to show you the division of two polynomials. Now again, when you write the answer, your qx will be equal to 3x cube minus x square minus x minus 4, and your Rx will be equal to minus 5. Now you should observe one thing over here. Whenever you get the quotient, it will always be in the decreasing powers, right? Secondly, no power is repeated in the quotient. You will get 3 once, power 3 once, power 2 once, power 1 once, and then the constant term. So if some degree is getting repeated, it means you have done some mistake somewhere while doing the question of division. Thank you.